All right, the Modern Eater Show continues. Where are we? Victor, Colorado. What? We're sitting on buckets in the back of a truck right now, Brian.
This is Big Red. This has been our truck on the road trip this whole time.
This is a good time, man. Riding up to Gray Wolf Resort right now. And altitude about 10,000. Where is Victor, Colorado? It is just outside of Cripple Creek. And we've got our host here with us right now. Nathan Rockwood, what's happening, my friend?
Hello, how's it going?
It's going good. And George Eater, you joined us as well. This is going to be
Thanks for having me up.
Cool little tour.
Good time.
Hey, man, Nathan, we love Gray Wolf Resort. We want to share it with other folks. Please tell a little bit about yourself, and then we'll get into the background of the resort.
Sure. So I'm a chef turned farmer. So I graduated from the Colorado Agriculture Leadership Program, and this was my class project actually. Now come to fruition. So the background of the property is a motorcycle going down the road here. We're located at the top of Phantom Canyon. History behind the area, of course, there's a lot of mining in the area for gold. So a lot of just neat opportunities actually on the property to find gems and gold and just things of that nature. But
there's gold in them there hills, right?
There is, and actually it really does help with the soil and everything we're growing and the feeding the animals. But the property itself originally was a horse property, and it was purchased by myself and the Rocky Mountain Organic Farms to develop into an agri-tourist resort. So teaching the community about agriculture in kind of a boutique resort setting, providing all the amenities you might find in a very nice hotel in a very small scale. And so we raise a variety of different animals. We try and select based on the heritage and the genetics of the animal, as well as plants, so that one day I, as a chef, can go back to cooking, hopefully in my own kitchen, and we'll be able to share some more about what we're doing over the table. So much that we can do as chefs, to influence the community, and as leaders, I think it's more important, now than ever to show people what we can do when we choose to sit down and eat and find things that, bring us together versus tear us apart. So
absolutely. Where'd the name Gray Wolf come from?
So the Gray Wolf is the name of the property when it was a horse ranch, and we wanted to carry that legacy on. So Daniel Gray is a kind of a shaman, very influential person as far as his ability to teach people about life through horses, medicine horse as they call him, and he's just a great influence on people, and I think especially on my own life. But through the horse, life's just like a horse, and life sometimes will take advantage of us. A horse is the same way. Once you go through his methodology, you learn about riding a horse, and then you get to ride the horse. And so it's amazing what it does for you as an individual and for people of all ages and mental health and everything. It just really helps you get control and realize that you're in control and you've got the reins, so to speak. And so for everyone, I think, to realize that on a larger scale is what we all need to do in order to get control of really our species, and what we're doing as a human race. So, and I think food's a big part of that. So,
when did he found this ranch?
So originally it was founded in 2010, and so we just finished our training. My training as a kind of a life coach with Daniel, and we'll be bringing back horses eventually to this property, probably in the next year or two. We actually do have a visit tomorrow from an older horse that might need a place to stay as it kind of finishes its days. But our goal is to give life, and that's really what I think a farmer needs to do, and what we all need to do, in our daily routines, is think about how we can create more instead of take so much. So,
great segue into talking about ranching and farming and regenerative ranching and farming. That's
yeah,
a big deal to you.
It is. Well, so I read a book called You Can Farm, and boy, it was a great game changer in my life, along with the folks at the Douglas County Farm Bureau. They really sponsored me and gave me this opportunity. So, but what we do here is we're trying to create sustainable agriculture, and so versus monocropping, we have quite a variety of things, and we try and keep it on a very boutique scale and encourage more of the mindset and the health and wellness as far as a lifestyle, instead of searching for that almighty dollar. And I think in that process, what we've found as individuals is that it really makes us great neighbors, great great part of our community. Just really what agriculture should be, which is the backbone of our community. And the more that we, I think, design communities to be like this in a microcosm, in the future, I think the more that we'll all enjoy the benefits of nature, which is kind of everyone's religion. If you think about it, it's the one thing we all can relate to, and everyone's got to eat. So,
a very unique spot that Gray Wolf Resort is. And one of the things that strikes me about it is that you want to share. You want to share with folks. You want them to come visit.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Well, you can't have a farm, and expect to change things without people coming to visit. And so this was all stemmed actually back when I was in culinary school. Margaret Mead, had this quote about, never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world, because it's the only thing that ever has. And certainly I think, in Colorado, we're pioneers. Absolutely. And that what we do here is influential and always has been. So,
What are all the things that people could do when they come here?
well, there's a variety of things from, the natural hiking and fishing up at Skagway Reservoir up the road to, visiting the farm, plant life, to learning about, all the different homesteading skills that we have. You can go disc golfing over at the neighbor's property. We've got, I think, an 18-hole or nine course disc golf course. Here in the near future, we'll have everything from horseback riding to hopefully a full commercial kitchen and, the ability to do a wedding and catering. But it's, little baby steps. So we're really kind of boutique now, and we focus on smaller, groups and individuals, and just whatever you want to do when you come, really, we'll cater it to you, because we don't have a ton of guests. So it's kind of
Awesome.
It's a great experience both for us and for you as the guest, because there's not a lot of other people around usually, and you kind of get that hands-on personal touch is what we like to call it. So
And it's by design.
yeah.
As we drive into the heart of the property, just in front of Nipple Mountain, what's the name?
It is, yeah. So aptly named, I think, for its shape, probably by the miners. But it's a beautiful view. So to the right of it is the Sangre de Cristo Mountains, and then to the left is Phantom Canyon, which descends down into Canyon City. And behind us we have Skagway Reservoir and the great fishing up there. And we're on a migration path actually for elk. So quite a few elk that come down the property. In fact, the neighbors just let us know that there's a herd just up the road. So as you come into the property, obviously we're under construction. So we're in the process of developing and building 2 cedar yurts, as well as some other agriculture buildings. Working first, obviously, with the county to make sure we have all our ducks in a row. And before we do that, obviously, the focus is the farm. So you'll see quite a bit of construction going on. You'll see a new office over here, office trailer. You see a geodesic dome. We've got garden beds over here in front of the main barn house. And we also raise Colorado mountain dogs. So that's one of our puppies there. She's getting ready to go through couple more heat cycles before she breeds, but and there's Cookie right there. So grass finished beef. She's saying hi to the guests there. That's a steer. And then so we've got the original horse corrals here set up right now, some with lamb in them, and an alpaca that keeps an eye on them, and those will eventually be moved in with the goats, which we'll be seeing here shortly. But this is the main building, and so this is what's available for rental both on Airbnb and directly through our website. Also, as a whole unit, there's a whole house, so different events you can do up here, family reunions, or just kind of fun get-togethers, barbecues. We'll be going to visit a cabin here in just a second. Actually, Walter, if you want to head on down to the cabin, we'll check that out first, and then we'll come back up.
George, what do you think?
I think it's awesome.
Bring that right up.
Just great property. And such a variety of animals down here. Does the alpaca actually babysit?
Yeah, well, so the alpaca actually is a babysitter. He's fixed, so he originally was here with another alpaca, but they were raised with calves and heifers. So originally meant to keep an eye on the cow-calf operation when he originally grew up, but now he's here. So he took responsibility for the baby lamb that was born, and he'll actually probably continue his job as stepdaddy for all of the baby animals. But in conjunction with the mountain dogs, they keep the coyotes away and work pretty diligently 24/7 to keep any other predators from the animals, as we do open range a lot of the birds and chickens and other animals. We don't want to confine them to the life that many of them, unfortunately, are stricken too in the industrial farming system. So, in that sense, there's predators that could come, but the dogs and the alpaca do a great job. So another steer over here out on the grass, getting ready for finishing there. And we've got some heifers coming that are cross between Highland cattle and Angus. So this is one of our cabins here. This cabin was actually the original structure that was built here on the property, and we do have a few guests that are here, but I don't think they're actually inside, so we should be able to sneak in and take a look, and if not, they kind of know that we're coming down. So
there's Jay.
Next to it, we do have a tiny house set up. It's a bunkhouse meant mostly for kids. So again, if you come with a family and you need some extra beds, not just the cabin, we can always set you up in that tiny house.
So what's interesting about the property is that as much as you are out in the boonies in the middle of nowhere, there's a lot of luxury that goes on here.
Yeah, so electricity is actually wired under the ground instead of overhead poles, so quite a bit of juice coming into the property. And
we'll just have Jay peek his head in there with you.
Yeah, we've got all the amenities of home. This particular cabin is set up for, I think Howard might be in here. Can we come take some video? Howard's in here. He's actually cutting away. This cabin's set up with 3 beds and kind of a little living room up front, and then the shower has a rock wall shower, so definitely have to check out that shower, Jay. But one of our kind of premier spots, actually, this cabin is one of the most popular rentals.
Here somewhere on the road.
What was your question?
There was like a sweat lodge teepee kind of thing.
And so originally there were teepees set up here, and we will be in the process of working towards bringing those back. We just won't have them available for overnight rentals. Any overnight rental, we want to make sure that there's a bathroom available and that they have running water.
It's just so beautiful out here, isn't it, Craig? I mean,
perfect. Other folks that come up here, there are retreats, right? So
Right.
think about this. You've got a friend of ours, Jason Newark, the butcher. He works with the military directly. You've got other things that happen up here. Talk about those.
Yeah, so we do a lot. So, my background is as a chef, and so we do a lot of training. Jason comes up here and teaches U.S. Army Green Berets and Air Force soldiers, mostly in the art of field fabrication and butchery, but kind of a neat thing, he always does to give back to the soldiers, and so we're very happy to give back to our this great land that we call America. But we have events here too that range from yoga to shamanic retreats to cooking, outdoor cooking, and there's things like that where you're learning different homesteading skill sets. A lot of opportunities, I think, just for anyone if you reach out to us. Whatever it is you might want to do, whether you're coming up with your family or you've got a boyfriend or girlfriend, or if you're looking to come up and really just learn about farming. And we have a lot of people that are interested in that just literally just come up just to help and get their hands in the dirt. So, and we'll actually go get our hands in the dirt here in just a second. So. Down below here, we're going to head back up and check out. We've got a couple sheep we'll visit on the way, but we've got a garden kind of built in and terraced into the hillside.
well, it is amazing, Nathan, because you have so many different places for people to stay and get away. From this cabin to the tiny house,
Right.
to even another cabin that's a hunting cabin as well.
Yeah, so unfortunately, we've got some great neighbors, and they've got an A-frame cabin that's kind of a hunter's lodge. Dog out. Dog out. Dog out. Sorry, I got to make sure the dogs don't get run over here. It's set up for hunters to be able to hunt elk, but we're going to have it available as well just because, ever since we came up here, we're fortunate to be welcomed by all of our neighbors, and they really believe in what we're doing, and so they want to offer that so that we can have an additional stream of income and be able to continue our operations. Because everything we do, we're investing it back into the property. So, I work really hard, not just here, but in a number of different businesses and capacities, and the whole purpose of that is to be able to invest back into the property. I'm not going trying to find a Lamborghini or a Rolex, which I think is also important. I think that so many people are working towards things that don't really matter versus what we're doing here, which to me is essential to what the future should be for a sustainable human race. So,
Well said. We're gonna head. Are we gonna head into this house real quick?
we can, yeah.
Down?
So while we're here, we'll visit the barn, and we've got some garden beds out front. You can see the steer there grazing. But Walter, let's stop here at the barn real quick, and we'll go in the bottom here.
Now, this isn't just a barn. This is a appointed sleeping, eating, and drinking,
Playing.
all around good time zone.
It is. You know, so believe it or not, this was a horse barn that was designed and built with stalls in it. And we pulled a few of those stalls out and transformed it. And there were already a couple bedrooms. It was set up, you know, as a horse barn, but really the intention was to be able to teach through the horse. And so Daniel, the original owners,
You
wanted
get to grab
to,
yourself a beverage when you come on in.
Put $1 in the jar, though.
Head on inside.
The original owners wanted to make sure they could teach, and so
That is one beautiful barn.
Yeah,
so the barn. Obviously, we've got a lot of the equipment from the guys here that just showed up, but we've got set up with pool table and a little bit of a gym, and
Jay, are you staying in that room?
I think it's a little messy there.
I
Jay,
made
but
my
that's
bed.
okay.
if you want to go look in the other room, it's
This is beautiful, guys.
But really, I mean, look, here you go. You got a
I wish my
couches,
house was this nice.
pool tables, another bedroom.
So 2 bedrooms downstairs, shares a Jack and Jill bathroom. Upstairs we have a suite. You know, it does have a
Show
pull-out
that
couch
bathroom, Jay.
and
Get in there, boy.
the ability to set up extra beds. So plenty of space for, you know, families, and once you add in the other cabins and some of the other buildings on property, more than enough to accommodate up to 25, which is what we currently are allowed with the county. We are going to work to increase that, but we want to make sure we kind of baby step it. So
Now, we'd like to go upstairs, but I know you got to take your shoes off.
well, yeah, and I'm wearing my buck boots, but I'll let you guys, if you want to go
Tiptoe in.
Yeah, we can go tiptoeing upstairs.
And truly, this is where you can get into your zone as a chef, and actually, if the guests would like that, you'll cook.
Well, you know, we don't do any, we can't sell any meals. We don't have a commercial kitchen yet. We're in the process of doing it. But, you know, I'm always happy to cook for friends and family and
Community.
you know, anyone that visits that's here, that's a friend or family of mine, I'm happy to take care of them.
Well, let's stroll through here real quick.
There's a cow out the window here.
I know, I love that. Now, you let them open graze all around the property, right?
Yeah,
Nathan?
so we've got 54 acres here, and we are bordered up on some land that we're trying to get grazing rights to, but the cows we have do open graze.
So as you can tell, fully equipped kitchen here.
Kitchen, and then the suite, and quite a few amenities up here.
Cool. Let's head on down.
Yeah, so we're gonna head down now and check out a couple lamb and sheep, and then visit the garden. I think we might stop by the smoker though on the way, because I need to check. We've got some
Chickens.
on the smoker and some ribs and some tomatoes.
It's amazing you guys even have the old hitching post out here for
Yeah.
the horses. I love to see that.
Yep, and we'll, like I said, we are gonna eventually bring back horses. I mean, we'll be teaching the same learn to ride to learn philosophy, which is life changing, and we certainly recommend that anyone looks into it who might be listening. Our other ranch is in Missouri. It's the Gray Wolf Ranch of the Ozarks, and Daniel and Christina are there gathering their herd and getting ready to teach again. So certainly amazing what you can do when you learn from an animal and you're open-minded about life, and it's mind-blowing and life-changing. So
as we're checking on dinner here right now, I think midway through this video, people are probably saying, I want to study up. I want to look and see online. How can people look to see what you've got going
So the
on
best
here?
way is just to go to graywolfresort.com. Oh, wow. Tomatoes are starting to split.
Jay Parker, check this out, baby. Woo!
Pretty sure.
Dinner.
Yeah.
This
Dinner's
is
going to be ready
looking
here
good. Yeah, man.
soon. Cool.
You're late to dinner, Jay.
So we've got whole chickens in there that have been smoked for about 3 hours now, about tomatoes and some ribs, and we'll be munching down here as soon as we finish our tour. So kind of just a fun, get together with you guys since you're up here. And
The landscape is so neat up here, Nathan. You've got this mix of like moss rock and
Right.
you've pine, aspen, just really everything.
everything, grass, a lot of native. Actually, tomorrow we have a foraging hike where we have a wildlife expert, Cattail Bob. He'll be here, but he'll be taking us around, showing us everything you can eat. But certainly great for the animals as far as grazing goes, and then great for people too. If you notice next door, there's that disc golf course. So being able to come up and just enjoy the the natural scenery while you're disc golfing is certainly a fun treat.
Ooh, baby.
Get in there, Grandpa. Head on in. I like to hold on to that so I don't fall off. Jay? Where are we going to look at now?
So now we're going to head past the sheep that we've got. Do have a baby lamb here that was born probably about a month. Well, no, 2 months now. 2.5 months old, I think, is about how old it is. They're half meat, half wool sheep, so they will be producing wool. Not that we'll necessarily use it, but for the most part, eventually they'll be producing nice spring lamb. So again, organic practices and grass fed eventually once they go out on the range. So the dogs will be in charge of protecting them once they're out.
Nathan, I'm sure you're tied in with the community. Do you ever get any like 4-H kids or anything that would come volunteer to shear these sheep for you? And
so that's actually what we're in the process of doing. We actually did have I believe it was the Girl Scout group ready to come up, and we had a set up to clean up the road here.
It's where you almost got launched last time, Jay.
Yeah, do be careful coming down the road here. But unfortunately, because of the pandemic, we haven't been able to do much like that so far this summer. But it's certainly on our list. Our goal is to become an education resource for the community, so a nonprofit eventually that would be there to teach about agriculture and kind of an institute for health and wellness at the same time. So going down the hill here, you'll notice a terrace garden here into the hillside that has potatoes and saffron and onions and quite a few different tubular and root vegetables.
And I believe last time we were here, Nathan, we talked about this is the soil that is down in this.
Yeah, it's nice and black. Right now it's a little dry, but it's the same color as you might find in Hawaii. It's very black and organic and really high quality. Like I said, there is gold in the soil. You can see flakes of it. That certainly does help the mineral profile, believe it or not, and does help with all the animals as they have a really balanced diet. So over here to our right, we have a little area that's going to be developed for a wedding. So we do have a wedding here in September, and we've done some smaller weddings, but right there is where we'll be marrying a couple and about 25 of their family members. So like I
And
said,
you're just clearing all that out right now? Is that?
Yeah, it's just going to be buzzed down with, and then we'll set up benches and chairs and kind of a little altar towards the front where people can do their ceremony. And
really one of my favorite areas of the property, and it just shows how rugged the land is as well. And Brian and I talk about it all the time as we travel Colorado, specifically from the plains to the dry lands down in the Four Corners to Palisade and then into Paonia, and if you jump around the state, this is one of the harder places to identify what you can do to ranch and farm here. You're in the hills. Well, rocks are all around.
Yeah,
it's
but
not perfectly laid out for you. You got to pick and choose.
Yeah, it is a challenge. Let's put it that way. But certainly, we embrace challenge. It's part of being a chef. I certainly embrace the challenge of becoming a farmer. And up here, fortunately, because of the amount of water that we have on this land, that's one of the prime reasons we chose it. But you'll see the number of aspen trees that are around here. It's tremendous, and so that tells us there's tons of water here. So despite the rocky appearance, there's a huge amount of great grazing land here for animals, and will continue to be as long as we continue to make more soil. And that's something that we have failed to do, quite honestly, as a society, is that we don't produce enough soil. And so we need to do things like composting. We need to do things like using animals. An example actually would be over here. You'll see this is a relatively small creek, or has been. But if you go up it further to where the pigs have helped root it out, it's become much bigger. And so they're going to do the same thing here once they're rotated back into this pasture. They'll actually root it out more and help the flow of the creek and develop it. But as they eat and root around, obviously they're pooping and producing nitrogen, and that's helping the soil. And the goats are doing the same thing. And so once we get into the full rotation of everything, it'll be quite an experience, I think, to see how much new soil and what we can grow up here, because despite the fact we're at 10,000 feet, there's a lot we can do with agriculture up here. And so actually the name Gray Wolf was given to Mr. Daniel, the person we had bought it from the founder of the original gray wolf by the Hopis, and they were renowned agriculturalists. So kind of a neat story there. We've got a couple donkeys coming over to visit. So they.
I was going to comment on the animals because they're all happy.
Yeah,
They're
well,
every single one of them.
so
They
are the
come running
people.
up
Yeah.
to you. and you know these animals are not miserable at all. Can you tell?
No, yeah. It's amazing. What, Chef? Tell me. I guess because you haven't been here before. What do you think?
I love it. I think what you guys are doing are great. We did it on a much smaller scale. We're looking for things. We had a couple lambs up at my brother's ranch, and it's very difficult to raise an animal and to do it well. And you guys, this is impressive. I mean, kudos. This is
Thank you.
spectacular.
Thank you. It's taken a lot of work, but
And it's just begun.
it has. It really has. So if you'll notice, we are just finishing all of our pastures. We have probably 2 more to go, and then we'll be able to get these goats, which you can probably see through the trees there. And we can. I don't know if I have the key, but we could probably hop the fence here if you guys want to.
Yeah, let's send it out in here.
We'll
How
go
many
visit.
animals do you want to try and get on the property?
Probably at most about including the birds and stuff. Really, we can have up to 1,000. But as far as animals, probably only about 200 to 300 or so. So
Still a great amount.
yeah, and it's amazing what you can do on a small area as long as you keep in mind things like rotation and really just the time the animal is really dependent upon how impacting that land. And you'll see these 2 center pastures are pretty well barren, and that's to be expected because they've been in there now for longer than they would in a normal rotation. So
Right,
just be
that
careful
burrow.
of the donkeys. They're very friendly, but they are trained to kick. And
I'm not playing with the donkey.
not you necessarily, but if they get spooked, they might kick at you. But they're very ferocious when it comes to coyotes. But with people, they're pretty loving.
God, I would love to see that donkey kick Brian across. Get him.
So, but yeah, if we
Baby, it's just kneecaps. They're not getting you. I'm gonna stay on this side.
well, actually, I can go see if I can get Vincent to come over then here.
Get some of these goats wrangled up.
Yeah, here goats.
Oh, here they
goats.
come.
Vincent.
So how long have you been letting them graze out here?
So this group was put originally onto that first past months ago. They've only been here for weeks. So the pigs were in. You'll notice all the rooting down here. That's all
We're
the
losing
pigs.
you guys. Come on back.
So the bigger one here is this is Vincent.
And he's sort of the leader of this.
He is, yeah.
There
He's the
goes
main
here.
buck. So he might be a little
Feisty.
feisty, but he's just being playful. So just do be careful with his horns there. But for the most part, he's just saying hi. He is like a
Saying hi
dog
to
almost.
George.
So
Just saying hi.
Yeah.
Hi with a horn.
Headbutt.
that's really what it is. It's his way of being like, hey, I'm here.
That's his thing.
Yeah. Come on. So we have
I
meat
think
goats
you've
and
seen one of his lost brothers in your sweater.
milk
here,
goats.
George.
Oh,
And,
shit.
So like I said, he's pretty feisty sometimes, but all it is he's just playful. So
Yeah, that looks playful to me.
so I try to ignore him if I can, but sometimes he doesn't want to let you. So
Well,
Now,
this-
are you just getting meat from these goats, or any of these goats milking?
the New Zealand goats, which are these taller ones here, those are the meat goats. So if you see one, just ignore him. He's really good. The smaller ones, those are for milk. So, but now
Feisty little
isolated.
buggers.
Yeah, they're gonna start reproducing here, and this is actually their pasture over here that they'll be in for the most part. So. Goat switch.
And Nathan, what are the varieties? You said you had a New Zealand and
So New Zealand meat goats, and then Nigerian dwarf goats.
Nigerian Taurus. Okay. And so, would you breed and start selling these as well, just as
These
as
are
babies,
all
or keep them?
the babies are all gonna eventually be developed, and we'll probably start processing some here this year is my guess. So
I can't get over this. This is as good as any place to end this video right here. Nathan, tell people how they can get a hold of you.
well, you just
before
gotta
we
go
get
to
gored.
GrayWolfResort.com, and if I can survive wrestling the goat, hopefully we'll be okay. But
Thanks for the hospitality. That's Nathan Rockwood. This is Gray Wolf Resort, Victor, Colorado. The Modern Eater Show continues.